Good morning, Balloon Fiesta Live. We are coming to you live from Time Flies, trying to hit Balloon Fiesta Park. We've been flying for approximately an hour and 15 minutes and have a great flight. We've got some great friends right over here flying next to us. Beautiful morning here in Albuquerque. We couldn't ask for much more. We hope you have a great day and thank you so much and take care. Coming to you live from Time Flies up in the sky, pilot Tristan McLean. Take care. Good morning, Balloon Fiesta Live. We are coming to you live from Time Flies, trying to hit Balloon Fiesta Park. We've been flying for approximately an hour and 15 minutes and have a great flight. We've got some great friends right over here flying next to us. Beautiful morning here in Albuquerque. We couldn't ask for much more. We hope you have a great day and thank you so much and take care. Coming to you live from Time Flies up in the sky, pilot Tristan McLean. Take care.
Live from the hot air balloon capital of the world, this is Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO Energy, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. It's the Siesta Edition. Live and direct from the home studio near Shreveport, Louisiana, and studios of Public Access Channel 27 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, here are the hosts of Balloon Fiesta Live, Siesta Edition, Glen Moyer and Lloyd Jr.
And good morning and welcome everyone to another day of Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO, coverage of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta Siesta Edition. And if you had Tuesday morning in the pot, you're the winner, as I have my very own live guest in the studio this morning. Say hello to Ranger, who's probably not going to stay here much longer.
Hi, Ranger.
It's the benefit of doing things virtually from home. He's been outside and he's already kind of wet and got sticks all over him. And I think Bonnie just walked in the room. But yeah, so a special live guest this morning. Okay, buddy, I'll let you go. There you go.
Way to go. Okay, so we'll have to check in and see the pool. We've been joking all week through all the rehearsals here. When is Ranger going to make an appearance?
Yeah.
If you follow Glen on any of the social media or his podcasts or those types of things, you know that Ranger is a regular fixture in his studio, many times on the equipment, as opposed to just in the studio. So great to see Ranger this morning.
He likes to play with his very own little mouse here on my desk. So, yeah, I'm surprised it took this long, but anyway.
He's got his own mouse. He doesn't play with yours?
Well, that's what I meant by his. Mine becomes his, you know.
I get it. Hey, so good morning once again. Good to see that. Hey, we got a great show lined up here today. We're going to talk later this morning with Matt Guthrie, the president of the board of directors of AIBF. A little later this morning, how you can get involved in being a sponsor of Balloon Fiesta and what that would mean for your business. And I'm going to ask you to indulge me. 30 years ago last night, I aired and produced a live show on one of the local TV stations here, Channel 13 KGGM at the time, an hour-long live special on Balloon Fiesta. 30 years ago last night. I'm going to show you a clip from it this morning.
So we're not going to get to see the entire hour show?
No. I don't, you know, it's one of those deals when you work for another company, even though you do all the work, they get the intellectual property stuff.
Right.
So I'm working with them to actually be able to release the entire show to the world. After all, it's been 30 years, and we're into the second renewal of the copyright, if I understand the law right. And so I've asked for permission to release it. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I am going to air a clip today of that. And then later in the week, I've got another one from a different show that I did with them 30 years ago. And I think it's all about how a balloon is built. And I think you're going to enjoy that piece. I hope so anyway.
Cool. I look forward to that. That'll be fun.
And so we should update people on those silver pins that we revealed yesterday at this time. By the end of the show, we got down to about a dozen of those pins left. Then it went all the way down to 0. And then we told people yesterday,
that's right. You can't buy 6 or 7.
One per, and we found some people who did. So that kind of threw some stock back into the pile there. So when I checked about 30 minutes ago, there was 5 or 6 pins left. So if you're still looking for one of those 6 pins, you can probably still get there. I think what happened is everybody said, they're sold out by now, there's no chance. Right. So there are a few left online if you wanted to pick up those. And we do have a Merchandise Monday deal as well, a really nice ladies boat neck kind of t-shirt, sweater type thing. I don't have one in the studio. You'll have to go online to balloonfiestastuff.com and check that out, but that's the special for today as well. We'll talk more about that as we go through the day.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you're going online early, before we start talking about it, use the coupon code BFLive, and that'll get you 10% off of, I think, most of the merchandise except for the special Balloon Fiesta Siesta merchandise.
Exactly. And we talked yesterday that we were on the local Channel 4, KOB, with the release of that merchandise. And they stayed around for the entire show yesterday. And they put a story together on behind the scenes of Balloon Fiesta Live. So you get a look at the studio and the control room and all kinds of great things. They aired that story this morning on their local news. And I'm sure that it'll be up on their website later today. I'll check later in the show and see when it shows up there and let you know. But you might just keep checking at KOB.com and look for the story on Balloon Fiesta behind the scenes, Balloon Fiesta Live behind the scenes. So we're getting some nice traction. We are over 250,000 people, or 250,000 people who have tuned in so far. And that was almost immediately after yesterday's show.
Which is a reminder for me. I just looked down to my Facebook, my iPad where I'm watching the Facebook feed, so I can turn on the comments and see who's out there this morning.
Well, there was already people waiting for us to come on, as usual, and we appreciate that. And be sure and share that out to all of your friends and neighbors as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you know when things are coming up live and when we put new videos up there, because we do put videos up there all year long. So not on a necessarily a regular basis, but we do put things up there. And so we do want you to share that out with the world. So I think that gets us caught up for this morning.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to see Bonnie, but it was good to have Ranger here this morning. Great way to start the day.
There you go. And I do think we're hoping for some live video this morning from Angel Fire so that we can get some pictures of balloons flying out there as well, and also from here in Albuquerque as well. So This is Balloon Fiesta Live, powered by XTO. It's the Siesta Edition. And what we're doing, in addition to our live chatting and interacting with you here on the stream, is that we are bringing you highlights of past years. With the 2020 event being postponed, we've got these great video clips from past years of Balloon Fiesta Live. And every morning always starts off with the national anthem, and on competition days like this would have been, there is a number of balloons that fly that are not competing. So we're going to start with the national anthem and those non-competing balloons.
All right.
I'm here with Balloon Meister Henry Rosenbaum this morning. Henry is in charge of managing what the pilots do every day. Henry, tell me what goes into planning the tasks for the day.
Yeah, Ruth, it's very interesting. We have a team of people, our meteorologists and our scoring team, and then our launch directors and our officials. But we actually start our day at 3 o'clock in the morning. So this morning we had our meteorologists out here doing weather observations. We actually put up the helium balloons. We get the current winds that are here at Fiesta Park, and then we look at all the models. And based on that, we can then determine what task we want to call that day.
And how many competitive tasks do you have in a week, and how do you go about planning those in terms of what day, what task?
Yes. So we have the opportunity to have tasks on 5 different days. The Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday, the competitors will fly into the field. And then on Wednesday, we do a mass ascension, but those competitors have an off-site target. So we know on the days that we're flying into the field, we have a different assortment of tasks that we can do. Such as today, we're going to do a fly-in task. There's 2 X's. The competitors have 1 baggie, and they can throw that mark at any of those X's, and we're going to score to the closest.
Do they have to go a specific distance outside to launch?
They do. Every competitor has to go at least 1 mile out. They can't come any closer to 1 mile to launch.
Well, that's terrific. Henry, I know it's a very complex task. What prepared you to be the Balloon Meister at Fiesta?
Well, I started off as a pilot. As anybody that comes through these roles are going to be a pilot. I'm also a commercial pilot with years of experience for 30 years. But then I've also been on staff here for at least 7 years, and then worked my way up through the safety officer rank, chief safety officer, and now as the Balloon Meister.
That's terrific. We're so lucky to have you, Henry. Thank you very much. Glen and Art?
Yep, I have something for you if I got a minute. Hey,
you do?
Yes, I've got the Balloon Meister pin here that I would like to give to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Henry. And I have a Balloon Fiesta Live pin for you.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Back up to you guys.
In the first 300 feet here, they've just kind of been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on us. Tim Taylor went beyond us and is now coming back over again. So if you stay low, you just kind of stick right here. But as you pointed out a few minutes ago, if you go up just a little bit more, you get a track out to the northwest, which is a good direction to go.
It is, yeah.
There's lots of nice, wide open spaces to land out there. And of course, it also takes you over the river, so you may have an opportunity to do a splash and dash as well. And they just got the word that we are taking down the yellow flag and putting up the green flag.
All right. Well, your speculation paid off this morning, man.
So we are less than 1 minute away from the launch of our balloon of the day and our national anthem. Our national anthem today will be sung by Amanda Morales. And Kevin Haynes is going to be flying the Dr. Pepper balloon out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go in 5 seconds for our national anthem and the start of our festivities on this Tuesday. Amanda Morales with our national anthem. Kevin Haynes taking Dr. Pepper here on Coca-Cola Day at the 48th Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, presented by Canon. Mother Nature is even getting in on the colors this morning. The sunrise still about 15 minutes away, official sunrise. We're starting to see some light come over the Sandias, or around the Sandias more so. But with some clouds out there, there's going to be a little bit of color in the sky. I think we're going to have a beautiful sunrise.
I think so. You know, it's always fun when you have a little bit of clouds and we get the sunrise, because sometimes you get that kind of cotton candy looking cloud that are light pink and they're really airy and fluffy. And so it'd be great to have a morning like that. And we have some of those clouds actually just right over the peaks of the Sandia Mountains, as I think you were just saying.
Yep.
And off to the north of us there. So it might be one of those kind of days.
Yep. The balloon we're seeing on the screen now, lots of red with a little bit of black and white going around the equator, the fatter part of the balloon. That's our As Time Flies balloon, otherwise known as our XTO balloon.
That's right.
And Balloon Fiesta Live camera balloon.
That's right, yeah.
That is the balloon that will fly our camera again
a little bit later this morning. The Intel.
You know, I noticed with Dr. Pepper and now with Intel, there seems to be a little more number of people in the basket, so like they've thrown an extra person in, which kind of confirms the fact that it's a little cooler this morning.
Yeah.
Because since the balloons fly with the difference of temperature inside the balloon and the temperature outside, when it's colder outside, you can put more heat in, therefore carry more weight. They're turning on the fan, and you see they're starting to blow cold air into this envelope.
And in a moment, we won't see the penguins any longer. We'll see this balloon right in front of us.
And this guy's just kind of untwisting and untangling this as it comes, because you just stuffed it in a bag.
Yeah.
So now he's just, as it...
And there's two theories of inflations as long as we're looking at this. A lot of people, I would say most people do as, well actually I guess you could say there's three. A lot of people do as that balloon team did. They just simply pull the bag out and then crank the fan, and they start to spread the fabric as the air fills the envelope. Some people will take the envelope out of its bag and then spread it out completely flat.
Yes.
So that it's balloon shaped, but it's flat, and then they'll crank the inflator fan. I used to like to inflate out of the bag. Meaning that we would
bag
hook,
inflation?
Yeah, we would hook the balloon up to the basket, or the envelope to the basket, open the bag, crank the fan, and then slowly drag the envelope out of the bag as the air was filling the balloon. So really three different ways that you can inflate. They all
work. So we just watched that balloon where they just kind of drag it out, put some air in it. Here's the team that is stretching it out, like
exactly.
You were talking
Although
about.
now this is looks like one of the shapes. Is that Mr. Fish?
Could
maybe?
be Mr. Fish. Looks like it.
Might be.
But it's the same.
But
the same
it's
concept
the principle
here.
we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
They're actually stretching the envelope out and getting it all. Of course, in the case of the fish, they may have to go through and put some of those seal some of those additional deflation ports.
Yes.
That special shapes often have in order to get all of the air into the necessary places and then get it all out. They sometimes have more than just the parachute top. They'll have special deflation vents that they have to open to deflate, and so then when they go to inflate the balloon, they have to make sure they're resealed.
So here's down at the throat of As Time Flies. We saw them holding it open while the cold air was being blown in. Now that it's full of cold air, or mostly full of cold air.
And as they're inflating, our second XTO energy balloon is just passing directly overhead of us. Yellow balloon with what looks like from the bottom a peacock pattern of feathers, and on the top it looks like somebody spilled a bucket of rainbow painted balloon, or rainbow paint rather.
Not sure if John Bulger or Tom Tollison is flying that one for us, but right overhead. They flew the camera for us on Sunday and brought us just fabulous pictures from the air. We appreciate them flying that for us. Ted May is just about to take our XTO balloon off, and you can actually see our Balloon Fiesta banner on the side of the basket.
Yep, Balloon Fiesta Live.
And there's our camera person right behind Ted. Ted's in the red hat.
If you find us or any of the team, we'll have Balloon Fiesta Live pins that look just like that banner. And there is the view from the basket. This is what it's like, folks, to be in a balloon and launch off the field here at Balloon Fiesta. There's the emoji balloon, kind of photobombing the scene there. That is Lee Hooper from Lindstrand Balloons over in the UK. There's the Fiesta balloon getting inflated.
And there's a nice shot of
a shot of our camera taking a picture of our camera.
That's it. I think somebody has to go to work here. They're wondering if they can save this stream. You don't have to, because we're saving it for you.
Yes.
So you can go back onto balloonfiesta.com and click on the links there and go back and watch all of our previous shows, not only from this year, but from the last 2 years as well. Got nothing to do? We've got 75 hours of video on from the last 2 years. And actually, we're already over 17 hours of video from this year that we have up online. Do we need to turn around and wave at our camera? There it is. Oh, see, now we can wave.
There we are. Yeah.
So they picked it up. Oh, look, there you can even see the monitor that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Remember, this used to be the top secret announce location in tower?
Yeah. Well, and it used to be just two guys with a table and a microphone up here. It was all we had. And we called it the super secret announce tower. We could tell you where it was, but we'd have to kill you. Now it's the rooftop studio, and I think most anybody at Fiesta knows where we are. And if they don't, they just have to look for the bright TV lights.
That's it.
Which actually are turned off this morning, but generally you can find us that way. And the TV cameras are kind of a giveaway as well. There's Cynthia Seal dropping in to photobomb the action.
So that's the middle of the field. We were talking earlier about being able to launch from the end and the middle.
Yeah, there's more beyond that row of balloons. You just can't see it because they're all standing up. That's all the Rainbow Ride balloons. That's a nice shot. Just the screen filled with different balloons and all the different coloring there.
I like how the one is kind of being squeezed by the others. We do pack them in on the field. There's the wedding.
There's the lovely couple doing some official wedding photography.
Hello, there's a great shot of Anton.
There he is.
With his gas can and gas hose. One of the new special shapes here. We have about 104 special shapes here.
And we're just a couple of days away from the first Special Shapes Rodeo, which will be happening Thursday and Friday morning. That's when the field is pretty much limited and reserved for the special shapes. That's always a special morning and a day that you'll definitely want to be tuning into Balloon Fiesta Live to see. Those are the most amazing balloons. Literally everything but the kitchen sink. That's just west of Fiesta Park. Looking back to the east, you see the Sandia Mountains there on the horizon. And you can see all of some of the parking lots, not all of them, but one of them.
Yeah, there's like two there.
Yeah.
We have a bunch. I think we have something like 15,000 parking spaces.
Wow.
And 250 park and ride buses that bring folks in. And then there's as many as 1,000 people ride their bicycles in. We have a bike valet. And the bike trails in Albuquerque actually come right between the museum and the balloon field. So you literally ride your bike right up to the field. It's a great trail. Actually, throughout the year, I ride that trail a lot. So the idea with a splash and dash is to get low enough that you just skim the water and you get the bottom of the basket wet without getting water in with your feet. So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens, because otherwise you could do a sink and dunk.
Yep.
Where you stick. That's not
pretty
bad.
Good. That's pretty good.
I remember a famous video we saw at a safety seminar one year where balloons were coming in over a tree line and then dipping down into a lake, and one guy came in and you knew it was trouble because he's solid on the burners all the way down, and the entire basket disappears down below the water.
That's all right.
Look at that.
Look at there.
Look at that cluster right out there.
Yeah,
Cynthia Seal.
Yeah.
And
the multicolor you were talking about.
The multicolored balloon, yeah.
And that almost looks like it might be.
I think that's probably a Rainbow Rider balloon in the middle.
That's
there.
what I was thinking.
Look how much bigger it is than the others. But yeah, Cynthia Seal getting feet wet in the Rio Grande there. Appropriate for a seal, I suppose.
This is a great shot looking back at the field from our balloon cam.
Yeah.
Thanks to...
you can see the sun is still not over the mountains. It's still
not.
Hidden behind the Sandias.
And the pink has gone away from our clumpy clouds.
Yeah, we've lost our clumpy cloud, our pink clumpy clouds. That's a shame. That was pretty.
Now we can start to see the sunlight on the balloons. And the colors always just pop. Look at here. We're coming in right over the tops of the trees.
Oh, yeah.
From she's back now.
She's back.
Right in over the tops of the trees. I think we're going to try a splash and dash ourselves.
Well, I hope we do better at that than we did landing yesterday. No pressure.
No.
The pilot can't hear us. And who's flying our balloon for us now?
Ted Mays is flying it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I saw Ted at breakfast this morning.
We pressed Ted into service after a little mishap with our pilot Tristan. So here we come.
All right, here we are. We're about to get feet wet. Yeah. Pick your feet up. Hope you're wearing water-resistant shoes.
The good news is the Rio Grande is not very deep.
It's not. No, that's true. Yeah, the name Rio Grande is almost a bit of a misnomer for that river because it isn't the grandest of rivers. And look at that. There's the sun just peeking up over the Sandias. All the balloons in silhouette. That's a gorgeous picture.
Get ready to wave at Tammy. Here's one of the many chair balloons or chariot balloons. So this is a two-seater, and on the sides are the propane tanks.
The fuel, yeah.
Yeah, they're waving down, strapped in there. Usually smaller balloons. The other thing about those is that they tend to land backwards.
Right.
Because of the way the reinforcement on the chair is. And so they'll turn the balloon. They've got a turning vent in the balloon. They'll turn it, or they'll rotate the gimbal, depending on the style of that balloon.
Yeah, you don't want to land face first.
No, because you end up doing a face plant.
Yeah. Look at that shot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Look at that.
Oh, man.
What a day to be playing on. You know, these are days
It
when...
looks like there's about 4 on the water, in addition to everybody else
going over.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here with Balloon Meister.
Nice stuff, right?
Yeah. Those last couple of shots, particularly the one where the sun was staring, we were staring right into the sun and you saw the silhouettes of all the balloons. I happened to turn and look, and you can't see it because I can't pan my camera that far. But Ranger is laying out just in view of the window in my office door here, soaking up the early morning sun as it comes through. So it's very Fiesta-esque around here. And it's like 50 degrees here this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, some beautiful video there, and that last shot there of all the balloons over the river. You know, that's a really popular thing that everybody loves to do, is go out and do those splash and dashes in the river. And you know, Art, that we have those folks who run the airboat type operations out there that take people out to see the balloons as they come into the river.
And the kayaks and all kinds of river craft.
The Rio Grande is almost like a second Fiesta site.
It's definitely turning into that over the last couple of years. And, you know, one of those shots we saw, like at the end of that video, we got one of those shots from our photographer, Victor Banta, featured on the puzzle and on that new blanket. And it's even at a lower angle than our balloon camera was. So it's, so we've captured it. It is a fabulous picture.
It may not be long before we'll have, vendors and concessions out along the riverbank.
Well, you know, we talked about those kayaks and stuff. One of the there was a company last year that was actually selling tours to the river in the boat to be able to watch the balloons come in and do splash and dash.
Oh, wow. Nothing like entrepreneurship, right?
There you go. So, in fact, speaking of the Bosky, we have a camera down there of where that's...
oh, look at that.
There you are. We're down at the river watching a couple of balloons coming in to do a splash and dash this morning. Those balloons would be from World Balloon Corporation, giving some paid rides this morning. So some people getting a nice ride out there, even though we're not doing an official Balloon Fiesta event or flights. Balloons are flying all around the city, actually all around the country. We've been showing you pictures of some of those before we come on the air live, on the beginning of our live stream. And then so, yep, here we are at the river. And the river this year is really, really low. You could not mess up a splash and dash this year because there's just not that much water there.
A good year for the rookies to practice then. Yeah, you know, you talk about balloonists flying all around the world, around the country too. Roger Clark, a very dear friend of mine from South Carolina, just sent me some photos from a flight they're doing there. And I gave him the link to send those in to our production team so we can add those to our pre-show roll.
Excellent. We'll look forward to those and probably have those up before we get started tomorrow on that. So we appreciate all the pilots who have sent those in. Even though Lifting Spirits was scheduled to be last weekend, there are many pilots who are continuing that Lifting Spirits effort throughout the week. And I suspect it will continue on. Those really nice thank you banners that are on the baskets, I suspect they're going to be there for a long time.
I think you're right, and I think it's a great thing for the balloon community to do. Everyone wants to get back to some form of whatever the new normal is. We'd love to go back to the old normal. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it was a great way for balloons to try and bring a little bit of joy and put a smile on some people's face as they were out flying this weekend, as we normally would all be there celebrating Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque.
Look at that. It looks like I can see like about 5 balloons that are in some way close to the river there.
And if you look, there's 1, 2, 3 that look way off in the distance there.
Farther down, yep.
Yeah.
So those 3 plus the 2,
Yeah, so another great day to be out flying in Albuquerque. Wish I was there.
And you get a hint that things are starting, the colors in the trees in the bosque, which is basically the woods at the river. The trees are starting to change colors. Of course, we're getting it's just sunrise, so you get a little boost from the sun as well. But yeah, it's a gorgeous week here in Albuquerque. And you know, it's perfect. It's great mornings, and we get a little bit of breeze in the afternoons when we don't have any kind of flying going on normally, and not this week either. Hey, let's move on to our live in-studio guest today, the president of the board of directors of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, Matt Guthrie. Thanks for joining us again this morning, Matt. How are you?
Good morning, Art. Good morning, Glenn. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Matt. How are you?
Very well.
So we just mentioned, Matt, that obviously the 2020 event had to be postponed. And so I know that that was a tough decision on the part of the board. Can you talk just a little bit about what was the thinking, what was the rationale for making that decision back in late June?
The driving factor of that was the New Mexico health order and what we were able to get out of the governor's office as to what we could expect come October for mass gatherings. And it just didn't look like it was going to be allowed. And we certainly don't want to put anybody in danger or get anybody sick. And so that was one of the most driving factor of the decision.
And so, Matt, a part of that decision, once that was announced, a lot of people then began to ask, well, okay, wait a minute. Next year 2021 was to be the 50th Balloon Fiesta. We were all kind of targeting great celebrations for that. And so the question was, well, will next year go on and be the 50th, or will we just wait and have the 49th? You decided to have next year as the 49th and then move the 50th back one further year. What was the process that came about with that decision? What were the various elements you had to think about to make that decision?
There was a lot of discussion on how to push that forward. And by postponing the event, it just seems like a natural transition to push 49 out a year and then allow 50 to happen after that. Merchandising and everything played in well. It allowed us some silver lining to that was it allows us to put a 5th poster in the rotation.
So a number of things people always come, well, I guess the other piece I was going to say is that it seemed like what that also does is because it's now going to line up the 50th event with the 50th anniversary. You know, when you have an event, that's event number 1, but the first anniversary isn't until a year later. So now the 50th event lines up with the 50th anniversary of the first one. Is that going to make the 50th even bigger and better in 2022?
We certainly hope it's going to be bigger and better, and they're already planning, they're already working towards the 50th, but we do need to get past the 49th first.
and this year.
And this year.
Yeah. And the Siesta. Matt, I know that there's a tremendous staff that works on Balloon Fiesta, but we talk every year from the rooftop studio about the hundreds and maybe it's thousands, Art would know better than I, of volunteers that work behind the scenes to make the event happen. How important are the volunteers to the organization? And for someone either living in Albuquerque, or I know in some cases there are balloonists and others who come into town just for the 2 weeks and work as a volunteer. How does one get involved in volunteering for a Balloon Fiesta? What are the steps to go through to maybe follow that path if that's something someone would be interested in?
Well, the first step would just be having that heart of volunteerism and reaching out to balloonfiesta.com. You can always give them a call at 505-821-1000 and say, hey, I want to volunteer. How do I start?
And there's like about 1,100 volunteers that we use during the event. And you're right, Matt, there's a link right on balloonfiesta.com that you can set that up. What do you think Balloon Fiesta means to not only Albuquerque and New Mexico, but to folks around the world? What does it bring to them? Why is it so exciting?
Albuquerque just has a special place in the hearts of balloonists from around the world. It started early on in the early 70s and it just grew, and people always heard the stories about how great Albuquerque was to fly. Not only the weather, but the people, the food, the whole atmosphere. And so people around the world just assumed that, man, if you're going to be any kind of a balloonist, you need to put Albuquerque on your bucket list and fly it at least once. And once you've flown it, you want to keep coming back for more and more. It's just spectacular.
And Matt, talking about that, you know, we went through the year, what was it, 2000, where the slogan was kind of 1,000 for 2000. And as John Davis commented when he was our guest earlier this week, we realized very quickly, we, meaning Balloon Fiesta, realized very quickly that 1,000 balloons was just, frankly, too many for the space that we have available out there. And so I think we've kind of settled on around 500, 550, that kind of number. But how much decision making goes into receiving applications? And every year, I assume there are some balloonists who get turned away. Is there a rotation type thing in effect so that you bring in new people and yet keep some of the guys who've been there forever and forever a part of the event?
There is a mix, and as an event, we try to keep new people coming in because that's how you keep the event alive. Is to have those new pilots get those new experiences and to help the sport grow as well.
So Matt, we're going to wrap this up here. Anything that you'd like to tell everybody about AIBF, the organization itself? Of course, we've mentioned it being a nonprofit, and how is it surviving this year without having such all the live scheduled things that we're missing?
Well, like every business around the country, we've had to react to the situation that we're in, and we have scaled back. We've cut back our staff of 20 down to a smaller number, and we're operating thin like everybody else has to at this point. We're looking forward to restrictions being lifted and being able to move forward. We do have the greatest staff in the world, and our bank of volunteers is unmatched. And the board of directors is a complete volunteer board as well. So none of us get paid. It's just a passion that we have for ballooning, for the event, for the city and the state.
Matt Guthrie, president of the board of directors of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Thanks for joining us here in the studio this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're headed off to work, I think, back in making great aircraft stuff.
Back to my day job.
Thanks, Matt, for joining us.
Thank you.
So as we talked about, the idea of being a nonprofit and a small staff here, that leads us right into our QVC section, as you've been calling it all along.
Yes.
Here.
Time to do a little home shopping, folks.
And so one of the ways that Balloon Fiesta is bringing in some revenue to be able to keep that smaller staff running and working and planning for next year's event is through our merchandise on balloonfiestastuff.com. That's our online store. Our physical store here in Albuquerque is closed, although you can get some great stuff online. Here's Goonie Balloony modeling one of the Fiesta pilot hats from last year, as well as the Fiesta Siesta mask. So a couple of those things. Goonie's not on the store. He's kind of our mascot, but the mask and the hat is. The mask has been very, very popular, and we're having a hard time keeping it in stock. So if you get an out-of-stock message, check back a little bit later, and we may have it there as well. Down in the lower right, you see the calendar. We've talked about this a lot this week. The idea of the calendar is that there is 40 minutes of video embedded in that calendar. You just put a little PixAction app on your phone or your tablet and point it at the calendar. It scans, and those pictures come to light. In fact, on the inside cover, if you were to scan the picture inside there, you'll get a message from Matt, who we just heard from live here in the studio. So you'll be able to check that out as well. Brand new caps, camo caps in regular camo and pink camo. So those are available to you. And there's the edge of the blanket. So if you can kind of pull out a little bit. And the puzzle, that's one of those shots we were talking about a minute ago about the splash and dash. So this was even more balloons than we showed on our video another day when we had literally hundreds of balloons playing down in the Rio. And Victor Banta captured this shot. It's on the puzzle. It's on the blanket. All for sale on balloonfiestastuff.com. And of course, I think we've already flashed it up there, and you mentioned it earlier. There is a coupon code BFLive. When you've registered at the site and you've got stuff in your cart, put in the coupon code BFLive. It'll take 10% off most everything in your cart. It doesn't work on the Siesta stuff. It doesn't work on the calendars because we've already got those on sale, but works on most everything else that you might put in your cart. So go to balloonfiestastuff.com and do some shopping this morning. If you were interested in those silver coins, there are, I think, a couple of those left. At least there were at the beginning. And then, oh, and don't forget all the sportswear that we have as well. This is just a small sampling of what is online. There is a Merchandise Monday special that we're not showing here. You have to see it online. It's a really cool Balloon Fiesta ladies boat neck t-shirt sweater combination. I don't remember which one it is. I'll have to re-look so I know there. But here's a couple of them. That red shirt is new for this year. That teal fleece on the right is on sale this week. And you see those kind of little stickers on the upper chest there. We're going to zoom in on those. So the round one, as we get closer, there's the Balloon Fiesta logo you can see on the right. But that hologram sticker on the left side there, that is a symbol of official Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta merchandise. Lots of people make lots of merchandise and lots of t-shirts, and they put things like balloons on them and Fiesta. But with Balloon Fiesta being a registered trademark, they can't put Balloon Fiesta on there legally. And one of the ways to check and see if it's official merchandise is to look for that hologram sticker when you're buying your sportswear. So we just wanted to point that out. A little confusion over that somewhere else this morning, and so I wanted to point out that sticker. So balloonfiestastuff.com, that's the place to go to check out the merchandise and pick up your fabulous stuff. Later on, I understand we put some new merchandise on there that might be of interest to our viewers. So I want to verify that it's actually available on the site, and then we'll be talking about that the next time we do our QVC segment.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that hologram sticker, because when I got my Balloon Fiesta Siesta T-shirt, it had that sticker up on the above the left pocket, and I was kind of taken aback by that. And then I kind of figured out, knowing Fiesta as I do from 31 years being associated with the event now, I sort of assumed that's what it was, a way of marking the merchandise as official. And then I found out that it does in fact peel off, so it doesn't stay on the shirt. But a new addition to our merchandise, and certainly our wearables this year, is that hologram sticker. So thanks for pointing that out.
You betcha. So as we saw in our first video, Ruth Lind interviewed our Balloonmeister Henry Rosenbaum from last year, and he was talking about what the competition for this day 1 year ago was. And so now it's time to take a look at that competition and see how it went.
Yesterday we had a bit of a break between the end of the mass ascension and the start of the competition. This morning, boy, they are just back to back. The field is already open. The officials telling me we're flying, the task we're flying this morning is first just a basic X, which simply means a fly-in target. Throw your marker, get it as close to the X as possible. And then we also have a maximum distance double drop, where there is a scoring area, and the pilots try to get their two markers inside the scoring area, but as far apart as possible. Now, Joe Zavada has his marker in hand. It's a yellow streamered marker. It looks like he's going to throw back toward the X. Oh, nicely done. Joe Zavada just got a really nice drop right to the X. Joe and his two sons, Rhett and Lucas, are all flying here, dragging the marker along the ground. Just going to, oh, look at that, dropped it right smack dab in the center.
So one of the windups here off to the side. This is Sean Rea, I believe, coming in the Sol Air balloon. He's got a great line. It's just an X out here today. So they're all going to attempt, there's actually two X's, but they all seem to be coming in on this one that we're standing next to. The Sol Air racer balloon. And they're all just lining up one after another. There's going to be another one that's just going to be able to reach out and drop it.
We're looking at that live on the monitor, Art, and just here he goes. Just
there you go.
Yep, dead center. Nicely done. Is that Sol Air? I think it is, isn't it?
And banner number 228, red at the top with some multicolors and yellow at the bottom. He'll have to give it a little toss, but he should be able to get there as well. That's 228. There's the throw.
I'm looking
throw
it up
from
for
up
you.
high, both coming in at the same side. Jeff Duff, I believe, in the Krispy Kreme is going to make a nice pass. He's down about 2 feet off the ground. Oh, vent, Jeff, vent. A wind up from the heart balloon with the cupids on it. Off the edge. The legs of the X are about 20 feet. And I can tell you there is a pile of markers on the center of the X and a few more. There's another one dropping in about a foot away from the Krispy Kreme balloon. of that. And here's 133, the spiral balloon with the black and the dark colors, blue and green and yellow. There's a nice toss, and it bounces. It might be right close by. I thought the tail was supposed to unfurl, though. So we'll see. Yeah, so he's looking for some, yeah, it's supposed to. He's looking for some cheers from the crowd. With no tail, they didn't get a chance to see it as well. But the neon pink, teal, and yellow is going to have a great drop coming in. It's going to come in about 4 feet off the ground. So this is Steve Adams coming in the pink and teal yellow balloon. He's going to drift right over the center of the X. He's got the marker in hand. He still has one of those memorial streamers from our memorial flight on Sunday. Nice drop by Steve Adams.
Yeah.
It was great. Number 3, the multi-shades of blue dropping in, although all of a sudden he gets a little drift to the west. He's going to have to make a good throw. He'll throw from about 25 feet or so. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Aiming. Wrapping up. Cocks it. Throws it. Good throw. He actually got a good bounce, too, right towards the center. That'll be a couple feet off the center. I don't know if we have a shot of the balloon or the basket, but you can see the big iPads attached there.
Yeah,
just a little toss out right at the center.
Gary? Was that Gary just then with the little toss?
Yes, it was Gary.
Okay.
That was Gary's toss.
We had a great shot of him on camera.
The stripes are Blair and the checks is Craig. And you see two different strategies. Do I come in from the north, or Blair's tactic to come in from the east?
Yeah, the camera.
Blair should start drifting to the south. There's Blair's throw. That's good.
Now we see Blair on camera.
Yeah, a little bump from the balloon behind him.
Yeah, we can see that.
But fabric to fabric. Good morning, Blair. Yeah, you're all right. You're in there. So very close quarters in here with all of our competitors coming in. There's Craig's throw. He ended up getting caught up behind those other balloons and drifted off to the east a little. We're gonna shift back, Tom, about 5 steps. I got the cables. So number 218, rainbow with lots of yellow checkerboard spirals. Winding up to take his throw. This is Marty Gauthier. Nice throw, a couple feet off the X. Marty, is his first year here. Great pass. He's going to drop right in on us. Nice throw. Yes, sir, we just said that. He just confirmed his first time here in Albuquerque, having a great time. We're going to have a nice drop. Nice dead center drop from the yellow one. There it is. Anthony Haynes. We're about to have another invasion of racer shapes. Gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got about 10 or 15 that are all converging on this X right in front of us, all at the same time. I see Scott Appleman and Dos Equis getting into the mix as well. There's a Wells Fargo balloon in there, and there's another Hartzell balloon. I'm wondering if that's Joe.
I'm going to say, I see Ken drawing out there, Humpty Dumpty in the sky as well. Ken and his balloon that's yellow. It's a racer with the yellow with the red and blue intersecting diamonds.
There's a great throw on the center. The black racer with the purple, teal, and white just threw it on the center. Here comes another hopper in. Kind of the green equator with the rainbows on the top and the bottom. It's got a nice, oh, that's Michael Glen. Take another look and I see that's Michael Glen coming in. Scott Appleman and Dos Equis and Wells Fargo all of a sudden getting a drift to the east away from the X. They had a great line coming in. Here comes Michael Glen. Great throw by Michael Glen. He's just a couple of feet off the center of the X.
Michael, of course, the rolling
this
pilot.
other racer, because what's happening right here is that almost like when we started this morning, the first couple hundred feet are going one direction and you go up about 500 feet and you make a 180-degree wind shift and go back the other way. So there's a kind of a very narrow little box here that some of these guys are picking up on and trying to make those last-minute adjustments.
Off the target. Bill Bussey is above. You see his black racer with that forest green and kind of a sky blue or a dark blue diamond in the center, the racing blue that should be not too far up above you.
If he wants to get to the X, he's going to have to go up and fly that pattern again. You can see many of them are doing that now. We have this nice solid blue balloon with the yellow crescent moon on it.
Yep.
He's going to be north of the target as well. So they're going to have to fly out a little bit farther to get enough west to be able to come back in. Well, so things have definitely shifted for our competitors.
And the reason we're watching Moyer is he's the two-time defending champion going for a three-peat here at Balloon Fiesta.
So he is now just past the target.
It looks like he's just stopped.
And the balloon seems to be stopping.
Yeah, just stopped right there. How do you do that?
I have no idea, but that's exactly what he just did.
He must have turning vents. Look at it rotating now.
He did. He pulled the turning vents. He's got a scoop on the balloon, which is kind of that half skirt at the bottom.
Right.
So you use the turning vent. Hopefully that's going to catch the wind direction. It's going back up now.
How do you?
But yes, he actually uses the turning vent.
Stop a balloon. How did he do that? I don't think I've ever seen that happen. That's amazing. And now he's venting again. He obviously popped up to get a little bit of a change in direction, venting really hard now. We can see the bottom of the balloon sucking in, the fabric getting real loose, indicating there's air being vented out the top. And here he comes back down, Art.
Yep. Well, what he did by going up a little higher there before he started that vent was to get a little bit farther to the north and a little bit farther to the west, because he was kind of lined up with the outer edge of the X, and so of course he wants to get closer to the center. So now he's out almost to the north edge of the field, about maybe about row, that would be, let's see, W is the end, that would be maybe about row T. Dropping slowly. Even though I can't quite see his face from here, just the movements in the basket, the reach for the burner, the reach for the vent, the total concentration and paying attention. But look what's happening. He's starting to move too much east.
Yeah, we can see it happening here on the roof.
Pulling on the vent, bouncing in the basket.
So he needs
but things continue to change.
He needs a little south, doesn't he? He needs to come toward us. Is he a little north of the target, Art?
Yeah, he needs a little more than a little, but yes, he needs definitely needs some south.
Okay.
And I'm not feeling it here on the field. A little bit of southeast on the flags over on the far west side of the field, and if I look at the flags on the far north end, they seem to be more east, and that's kind of the wind that Moyer ended up in. Well, like we said, he's got time to try another pass. Looks like he's going to try something.
Question is, he needs
to get back. I don't see the urgency in his body movements at the moment. I don't see that urgency. Yeah, can he do it? That's the question.
He needs to get back south to make another pass because he's already beyond the target, and that's the problem, is we can't seem to find any south.
To see if he can get that turned around. The scoop, of course, designed to let the wind that is hitting the balloon be directed up into the balloon to counter the wind that is hitting the outside.
Right.
But these competitors will use it to kind of provide maybe an additional speed, or I'm thinking brake. I'm wondering if some of that turning vent, if you turn the scoop the wrong way in flying, that would act more as a brake than
maybe
than
that's how he stopped
speedometer.
This guy is driving that balloon exactly where he wants to be.
You can't steer a balloon. Maury Petrin
Or
can.
Petrin can. That's for darn sure.
See, I don't think he got enough west before he came down.
I was thinking the same thing. I think maybe he came down too soon. But it's easy for us to
Isn't
fly
it great
from
to
here in the
armchair
chair.
quarterback this?
Isn't it easy to fly when you're sitting here in a chair on the roof or down on the field? Easy for us to say he dropped too soon. And he probably knows he knows far more better what he's doing than either of us do, that's for sure.
He sees more targets in a month than I've seen in 30 years of flying.
Yeah, probably so. Me too.
So we might have a couple of others have a nice line in here. I'm looking out. You mentioned Mariah, the black one with the gray band and the bears in it. And between Mariah and the target is the blue one with the rainbow colors and the white.
I see that.
They seem to have that southeast direction that is coming towards us. That might be Stephen Mezzincello in the blue one that I just mentioned.
And we're at 8:50, Art, so 10 minutes left in the scoring window.
Time enough for both Mariah and, if that is Steve, to get here.
Absolutely.
Maury continues to work the pattern around and try and get closer.
And you can bet Maury will try right up until they fold that target up if he hasn't yet got his marker on the ground. Eventually he'll throw his marker, but there's no point in doing it now while you have time left and he's in the scoring zone. He can maneuver, maybe wait and hope for a wind change that might, improve his position at the last moment. There's the scoring team already now beginning to sort through, and they have to very carefully separate and measure, mark each baggie and measure it before they remove it from the pile. And they always measure to the closest corner of the weighted part. The long streamer doesn't really count. It's where the weighted part of the baggie or the marker falls, where it lies on the ground, and they measure from the closest point of the marker.
We're going to get a throw here, I think, from the black one with the rainbows.
Okay.
Got the marker in hand.
Yep, there goes the drop.
There's the throw.
He'll score. He's in the scoring zone.
It is a great line on the target. It is Steve Mezzincello in Mesmerize. That was Joel Jones in the black one that we saw.
Okay.
But this is Steve Mezzincello coming in. He's lining this up nice. This is going to be a great drop.
Working the vent there for a moment. Banner number 71, 071.
Little burner. Yep. He's going to have to do a throw versus a drop.
Yep.
Lean out and throw. Bounced right in there.
Right into the center.
Nice job, Steve.
Good job, Steve.
Maury's winding up for a throw out there.
We're watching Maury on the feed now. He's on the screen. Radio.
And I just heard on the radio that the spotters out there, he did let it go. So he's at least in the game, as we talked about the consistency a number of times. So I keep watching this red one directly overhead because, as you said, we only have a moment or two left in the scoring window. If he's going to score, he's going to have to drop it at this point, let it go.
We're inside of 1 minute. We're less than 1 minute now, Art. We're at 8:59.
Okay.
I don't have a countdown clock, so I can't see seconds.
Here comes the marker. Here comes the marker right from the red one. Boom, right here about 20 feet from me.
So he worked it right up to the end and did a good job.
He did. Morty's getting a better line now that he's thrown his marker.
Of course. Of course.
You said that, yeah.
He's kicking himself, too, for that.
And Mariah's going to be up against the clock. You said that was Craig Hayes in the Mariah?
Yeah, Craig Hayes in Mariah, yep. Craig is a Texas pilot that I know well.
That would explain the Texas flag on the side of the basket.
It would. Nine o'clock. So if he was getting a marker down, he had to have it down. Technically, by GPS time, we should be closed now.
We'll be waiting for the count. There's the smoke on the field, so we are closed. This is actually Mark Ibbotson in Moriah.
Oh, is it Mark? What?
It's Mark.
You're right. That's my bad. Craig Hayes flies a different balloon.
So,
Yeah.
and there was actually, he threw a second purple one as well that they're going to pick up, and they'll mark it. And of course, right behind me, you can see the all the X's, all the markers on the center of the X. Our scoring team's going to be here a little bit of a time to sort through that and very carefully measure to the, I think it's to the 1/4 of an inch.
How about that access? Yeah. Am I hearing Glenn? Okay.
Sorry, that
Okay.
was my bad.
Oh.
Yeah, I was saying it's so incredible to see competition from that angle, to have our cameras down at the target and be able to see it up close and personal, because even the spectators don't get that good a view that when they're on the field there in Albuquerque, and certainly we don't, because we're miles away, it seems like sometimes, up in the rooftop studio. So great to have the cameras and you down there in the target zone.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we've worked closely with the Balloon Fiesta officials. Henry Rosenbaum, which we're going to talk to on Thursday this week, by the way, has given us some of that unprecedented access to be able to get in there. And what a great day for them to fly that kind of competition, and for the scoring, and for us to be right in there. Just fabulous stuff. Just reliving being in there and kind of missing it at the moment.
Well, and you can tell it was a great day by that last shot of you there at the end with all those markers around the target. You know, that's when you know it's been a good day for competition, when there's a lot of scoring.
Yep, it was one of those. And, you know, even though we're missing the live aspect here, I think we have some live video from up in Angel Fire this morning. And our good friend Peter Cuneo is up there kind of taking it easy. And I think he went up there for it to be a little cool. There's, Sandia Sun Rise is the yellow one. And I'm not sure who's next to them if they pull out just a little bit. But Angel Fire is just over the mountain from Taos, north of Santa Fe. And so they've been up there for the weekend flying. And so we appreciate Peter sending us those pictures. It's a gorgeous place to fly. And you notice the landscape is already changing colors, because it's at about 7,000 feet up there versus 5,000 here in Albuquerque.
I had a friend, Brenda Kalishaw, who was one of the participants in the America's Challenge gas balloon race that we showed on our program on Saturday night. She is up in Taos, and they flew the gorge up in Taos, I think yesterday or day before. And she posted some great pictures on her social media, and talked about how the aspen are beginning to turn their beautiful golden colors, and just looked like, I'm really jealous. I never got a chance to fly the Taos Gorge, so that must have been a great experience.
Actually, there are balloons up there all week who are attempting to do that. The gorge, very deep. I've forgotten how deep the canyon is up there, and a bridge over it. And the real trick is to fly your balloon underneath the bridge, so you're down in the gorge. That's the trick. Takes being in the right place at the right time, kind of like a competition flight.
Yeah, and I don't know if she got under the bridge, but some of the pictures she posted, she was definitely down in the gorge. I have a very dear friend who's an artist who lives up in Taos, and went up and visited her a couple of years ago after Balloon Fiesta. And that was my first trip to actually go up and see the gorge for real. It's quite a spectacular place, and I've flown out in the canyons in Lake Powell some years ago, but I can't imagine getting to fly down in something as deep as the gorge there at Taos. That must be spectacular.
It is one of the things that I would like to do on a flight sometime. I've talked to people who have done it, and it's spectacular if you make it, and it's kind of
scary
not
if you don't.
Scary if you don't. There's not a lot of access. You actually have to be really careful about where you land on the other side of that once you do that as well, to be able to retrieve your balloon, have your crew get to you. And so there's definitely some tricks to making that work. There is a balloonist up in Taos who is working with a number of balloonists, in addition to Brenda. Elizabeth Walker's another one up there. I think Doug Gant from Hamlet was supposed to go up there this week. And so a number of them were trying to organize some flights through and around Taos in the gorge. And like I said, they're just over the mountain from Angel Fire, where we're seeing the pictures of the yellow, the red, and the blue, as well as that black with the paint spills coming down. The black with the paint spills is a standard pattern. That could be a number of people who are flying that balloon.
Well, I can remember one of the early years flying at Lake Powell, and this was back in the early 90s, prior to the current event that goes on there. And one of the warnings they gave us when we launched is be sure you land when you get to this road, because after that, there are no roads. And in fact, at the end of one weekend up in Lake Powell, one pilot flew so far out, they ended up having to do a helicopter retrieve of the equipment. And I don't know what it cost, but he told us afterwards, let's just say I've maxed out all of my credit cards. So sometimes, you know, when there's only one road, you want to land on that road. You don't want to go any further. So if it's like that up at the gorge, then good luck to those who make the road and those who don't.
So just to confuse the issue of that last shot we just saw of the black with the paint spills coming down the side, the trailer behind it and the people are around it, there they go. That's Judy Nakamura and her crew. So I know Judy's up in Angel Fire. That's her trailer, that silver trailer. And so I'm not sure whose balloon they're helping with, but that was her crew waving at us through the picture there.
And if you remember, early this week, we showed a picture, some video of folks flying out in Red Rocks in Gallup.
Yes.
And the camera briefly tilted up and showed kind of a red balloon. And you said, I don't know who's flying that balloon. Well, that actually was, and I hope I get his name right, is it Bill Noy? N-O-E, I think?
Bill No.
Bill No.
Bill No.
Okay, well, yeah, Bill sent me a very nice email and said that was him who was flying that balloon. And Bill and I have not met yet, but he appreciated our kind words about Red Rocks and Gallup. And so thanks, Bill, for that email. And hopefully we can catch up next year at Balloon Fiesta.
And in that same shot, there was kind of a teal balloon that I said, I think that's Ken Beebe. I did confirm yesterday that was Ken Beebe and his balloon out there. So it was, you know, they look really similar, but we know so many, and we never know for sure who's flying it because so many people fly the different, so many pilots on each balloon.
And then you have the Bears and others who have, and the Hartzels that have matching balloons for the entire family, which always keeps us guessing. That's part of the fun of the job that we do, is trying to put the right pilot in the right balloon at the right time and place. We don't always get it right, but most of the time we do.
Well, and the good news is when we get it wrong, they let us know so that we can learn from it and move on to the next piece.
And when we get it wrong, most of the public doesn't know anyway. So.
Yeah, that's it. They just think we know everything, and we'll let them think that way.
That's right. Let's don't burst their bubble.
Hey, you know, Glenn, one of the really big pieces of Balloon Fiesta is the sponsorship and the support of the businesses, not only here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but around the world. And it is a very important part of Balloon Fiesta. And I want to talk a little bit about the whole idea of a sponsorship, what that is, what it means to you. So we've got our sponsorship manager, Lori Riedel, here from the Balloon Fiesta. Good morning, Lori. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about sponsorship. What does it mean to be a sponsor of Balloon Fiesta?
What it means to be a sponsor of Balloon Fiesta is to promote your company and help Balloon Fiesta at the same time. You know, we are one of the 3 legs of income for the event, since we're a nonprofit. And so we typically, in years past, we average about 180 sponsors, all different levels. We have a very nice mix of local sponsors and national sponsors. So that's part of the way that we help pay for this wonderful event.
Hi, Laurie. It's Glen from Louisiana. How are you? It's
I'm
good
great,
to see you.
Glen. It's good to see you too.
Well, thank you. You talked about sponsors large and small, local and national, I know. I'm sure there are some templates you go by, but you do a great deal of customization, do you not, so that the sponsorship can fit whatever it is that the company is seeking to gain. You know, you want to help them reach their goals while Fiesta reaches its goals. So talk a little bit about how you customize a sponsorship package.
Absolutely. Some of the sponsorships are not really able to be customized with, if you rent a product sampling booth, a 10 by 10, you get what you get. Balloon sponsorships are pretty much the same way, but the larger sponsorships, the official level sponsorships, I don't think any two are alike, because we really try to work with the sponsor to help them achieve their goals in sponsorship. And in fact, many years ago, I had a local company come to me and say, have you ever had a sponsorship for your announcers? You'll remember this.
I remember that.
Which we did not, and we had not before then. And so they became the official sponsor of the announcers. And so we also, we like to think outside the box. We like to work with people. Certainly if they come to us with an idea of a sponsorship, we absolutely will look at it. But customization for the official level sponsorships is one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on.
And what kind of results do the sponsors report back to you? I know that XTO, now the sponsor of Balloon Fiesta Live, I know that they responded that they thought it was great. They got good response and thrills. But what other kind of success stories? And I'm the sponsored announcer here, right? What other kinds of success stories can you share with it about sponsorship?
There went that sponsorship.
Yep, that's out the window.
Oh, well.
No, I think the greatest testament to our sponsorships is the fact that typically we have over 85% of our sponsors coming back. So that tells me that we are doing a great job of working with the sponsors and customizing. They're obviously getting what they want. Canon's been around for 6 years. They've been very happy with us. It's just, like I said, I think just the fact that so many people renew and keep coming back. I mean, we've had some sponsors. I've been with Balloon Fiesta for 20 years. We've had some sponsors that have been here since the get-go. For example, Coronado Center. So.
Yeah, Lori, this is my 31st year associated with the event, and I can remember sponsors, for example, Loveless Healthcare, that provides our first aid and facilities like that on the field. I'm not sure if that's an official sponsorship. You'll tell me if I'm wrong, but I know organizations, see, neither of us can talk this morning, Ken. Organizations like that do come back and have been involved year after year after year after year. How does a new sponsor come on board? How do they get in touch with you? And do people just call you up and say, hey, I'd like to sponsor, I don't know, let's say the porta potties, and you sit down with them then and start to work a deal out?
Well, actually, I'll tell you, nobody's called to ask about sponsoring the porta potties, but
see, there's an opportunity.
There is an opportunity. There's a lot of them out there. There's multiple ways that you can find out about sponsorship. You can call Balloon Fiesta at 505-821-1000. Ask for Lori or Stephanie. You can also go to our website, and you'll see some information on sponsorship. You'll see information from prior events with guest counts. We have media information from previous events. We have demographic information from previous events. There's a lot of information on the sponsor page of balloonfiesta.com. So I would love for people to call me. Obviously, I can't call everyone in the world. So if you can call me and help me out, I can help you out. And
there's the email address as well. Your sponsors at balloonfiesta.com. You'll respond to that?
That comes directly to me. I know that I think when I was hired, they thought I wasn't going to stay for a long time, so they gave me this generic sponsor email address because everyone else's is their name. And so I know when I give people this email address, they'll say, sponsors, will that go directly to you? That is mine. That'll come directly to me, and I will respond to you.
It's just an easy one to throw out there. People can remember, I'm looking for a sponsorship. I'm going to send it off to sponsors. Lori Riedel from sponsorship. Did you have something to add there, Glenn?
Well, I was only going to say, sometimes we're blatantly obvious, like balloonfiestastuff.com. I mean, come on. Just call us Captain Obvious and we'll go on.
Well, there is that whole idea of the vanity URLs and the vanity emails and all those kinds of things. So, yeah, it's there. And there are some others. There's a video at balloonfiesta.com that comes to me as well as mine. So we all have those kind of more generic ones as well. Lori Riedel, sponsor manager from Balloon Fiesta, thanks for joining us and talking all about sponsorship here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
All righty. So Glenn, earlier today, at the beginning of the show, I teased you or hopefully got you, well, we'll just leave it at tease. I told you that.
Let's don't go further than that.
I told you that 30 years ago last night, I was on a live show that I produced, anchored, hosted, all that other stuff at one of the local TV stations here. We called it From the Ground Up. It was 30 years ago last night that this 1-hour live special aired. And as I was looking back through old footage and things like that, I was reminded of that show. And I watched the show again. And even if I do say so myself, it's a pretty darn good show. And so if you'll indulge me, I'd like to share a small clip from that show with you now. Remember, this is 30 years ago last night.
This is our way, way, way back machine.
From the ground up, Balloon Fiesta 90.
Good evening, I'm Lloyd Jr. Welcome to a comprehensive look at ballooning and the upcoming 19th annual Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Well, here we are, 1990, the 19th annual Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. But you know, no one knows for sure when ballooning really started. We do know that for as long as man has been alive, he's wanted to fly. And there is some evidence the Chinese Yin dynasty of the 12th century BC used balloons powered by smoke in warfare. In the 13th century, a number of scientists expounded on their own theories about how to achieve the goal of free flight. But it wasn't until the late 18th century when someone actually did something about trying to fly. But even that story has its doubters.
Well, now there's a myth that says that back in the early 1780s, one of the Montgolfier brothers was sitting in front of the fireplace daydreaming about how the French could conquer Gibraltar, which was a British fortress. And it was impregnable. It's the Rock of Gibraltar. Everybody's heard of that. And he knew that you couldn't get at it by land or by sea. It was just too well defended. How else could you possibly take this thing? His wife had hung her chemise up to dry in front of the fireplace. And the heat from the fireplace was making the chemise billow, sort of like a balloon would when it was being filled. And as it heated up with the hot air, it actually rose up and down and went up and down. And it suddenly gave him the idea. Perhaps they could conquer Gibraltar from the air.
Until 1960, when Raven Industries invented the modern hot air balloon. It took a while for the sport to catch on, 10 years, in fact, before anyone in Albuquerque really got excited about it. But when the sport hit New Mexico, it hit in a big way. Sid Cutter is credited with bringing the sport here, and it all started with an unusual birthday present.
I bought my mother a balloon for her birthday. It was really the way it happened, and I'd never seen one before, and we had a big party out at Cutter Flying Service for all our customers that have ever done business with us. I don't know, maybe between 2,000 and 3,000 people showed up, and the next morning we went out and flew it. And that was quite an exciting experience because I didn't know how to fly the thing, and I didn't know how long the fuel was supposed to last or anything like that. But we got it done.
So, you ready to own your own balloon? Just walk into a balloon store and plunk down your money. You can do that. You won't have much choice of colors or designs, but it is a relatively inexpensive way to start. But if you really want to do it right, you'll want to order your very own personal and special hot air balloon. This is Aerostar, one of the big 3 hot air balloon makers. The basic balloon design starts here in the engineering shop. And while they used to have to draw it by hand on a drafting table like this, now they use computers. It makes things a whole lot simpler.
The primary thing we're using it for now is really speed, because what we want to be able to do in the long run is to be able to have duplication. You know, in our print system, we have a lot of duplication of small components, like an envelope, for example. So we can take an envelope and duplicate that envelope drawing many times at a much greater speed than would have taken by hand.
Of course, the customer's idea of a good design is more like what color goes where.
We write out a complete specification production sheet, and this explains to the production people all the options that the customers ordered, both on the envelope and on the basket and the burner. And all of that information is contained in this large folder that stays with the balloon, and then the balloon is manufactured to those custom specifications as the customer ordered it.
While the design work goes on, every piece of raw material used in making a balloon is inspected. Fabric is pulled till it breaks to test strength. It's also put through a machine that simulates long exposure to sunlight. Cables are pulled to a certain strength. And while most parts pass inspection, those that don't are marked and locked up so as not to accidentally be used in a balloon system. Now that the plans are completed and the parts all inspected, it's time to put those parts together into one big, beautiful balloon. And that takes a pretty big room, like this one, 740 feet long, nearly 2.5 football fields. This is the cutting table. It takes about a day to cut the 1,000+ yards of fabric needed for an average size balloon. In addition to measuring and cutting the fabric, these workers also inspect the fabric for any flaws. Using patterns that are stored on the wall, the pieces are cut, marked, and put in a box headed to a seamstress.
They put all the pieces of the puzzle together, so to speak, and they actually are doing their own quality control as they do the manufacturing. And so I think that our customers recognize the high quality of our product and the fact that our employees take a lot of pride in making sure they deliver the best product possible.
Meanwhile, in another area of the shop, a basket is taking shape. The recipe starts with a basic frame, and pre-soaked wicker uprights, the floor, and then more wicker, layer after layer after layer, all the way up and all the way around.
I just finished this one over here. It took me 15.5 hours, and that's everything. I've got to build all these, set it up, top weave, trim it all out, and then lug it back up front. It takes about 15.5 hours. I would say 10.5 hours actual weaving time. So they go up pretty fast.
Then a little trim of the loose ends, and it's off to the front of the building for the finish work. It's here the leather and suede and other finishing touches are put on the basket. In yet another area of the shop, burners are put together from the hundreds of pieces stored in bins along the wall. Meanwhile, back in the sewing room, all the pieces are sewn together, and it's time for the rigger to go to work. He adds cables, handling lines, and all the other ropes necessary for proper operation. Once completed, the balloon is test inflated. This new balloon is a large one, so the inflation takes place outdoors. FAA certified inspectors go inside the balloon to check it out and string the operating lines. The burner is turned on, and the balloon stands up.
You can lift versus temperature, taking up to maximum lift, and get a temperature at that, and we got a graph that they all have to meet.
Then it's back to the shop for a final inspection, packing in a custom-made bag and shipment to you.
Wow, that's an awesome piece, Art. I do hope you get the authority to release that, because I'd love to see the entire program. Really
Thanks.
well done.
Thanks.
Really well done.
I hope so too. It was. It really was fun to put that show together. I got to travel to a number of places, as you saw. Not only the Aerostar factory there, got to fly one of the Jacques Sokup Kirk Thomas balloons, the Mataruska doll, when we were in South Dakota, and toured their museum there, which now, of course, have most of their collection is now in the Albuquerque International Balloon Museum here in Albuquerque. Yeah. So a lot of that stuff is there. We were looking at some old pins last night, and I found the entire set of Jacques Sokup Kirk Thomas balloon pins. And I think that we were talking with you yesterday about a button from one of the early Fiestas. Yeah. Did your co-host, did your partner there find it for you?
Yeah, he did. I don't know if I can get this where it's, let's see.
Just hold it right there.
Side up. There we go.
So Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and there is the Roadrunner in the balloon.
Yeah, I was trying to find out where the focus range is. Probably right about
good.
there.
It's good there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the early balloons, you were showing me that before we went on the air, and Matt Guthrie was here, and he said there used to be boxes of those at World Balloon Corporation, which of course was Sid Cutter's company that put the first Balloon Fiestas on, so it would make sense that it stays there.
You know, the other thing that I loved about that clip you just showed in that program you did, you and I didn't know each other back then, but 1990 was my first year as one of the commentators at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. That was the year that I joined Tom Rutherford up on the tower. So that year has a little special significance for me as well.
Well, last year I think we talked about the fact that you had 30 plus years of ballooning and announcing. I'm at 30 plus years of ballooning plus broadcast. You bring in Kim Vesley and Ruth Lind as our reporters. They had more than 30 years of ballooning and broadcast experience as well. So the team here, just the on-air people, bring more than 120 years of not only ballooning but broadcasting experience to the table as well. And nothing against any of the guys that are on the local TV stations and doing that kind of stuff now, but they got a ways to go to catch up.
Yeah, and of course they don't have the insider knowledge that we have either.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the two of us, I think, perfect for our roles, is that we know and understand the sport so much better. There's nothing more frustrating to me than watching a television reporter doing a story about the sport of ballooning and realize they really don't know what the heck it is that they're talking about because they just don't understand the workings of the aircraft. And by the way, so Laurie doesn't feel alone, Ranger has already put in a request for his own special email address too for Balloon Fiesta. He's wearing out his welcome here this morning, I got to tell you.
Well, he finally figured out that there were a lot of people watching and a lot of people wanting to see Rangers, so I'm glad that they're there. All right, so by the way, again, later in the week, I've got a clip from the 2nd annual Special Shapes Rodeo at Balloon Fiesta.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, with a record 34 special shapes.
Wow, 34, huh?
34, yeah. The places we've gone and come from, the distance we've traveled in the last 30 years, pretty incredible. Hey, time to switch gears here a little bit and head over to our merchandise table and talk about some of the merchandise that you can get from BalloonFiestaStuff.com. Help support Balloon Fiesta itself and making sure that we're still here for the 2021 event. Here's just a small collection of things that you can find on BalloonFiestaStuff.com, from all of the merchandise to the tote bags on the right. There's a full set of pins, collection of pins. We didn't put any sets together, but there's a full collection of those. There is the poster in metal print, also the full-blown poster that we have online. And I want to take you to the website because we added a brand new item this morning that we've been kind of sitting on here. We have managed to secure a number of UV sanitizing boxes here that have the Fiesta logo on them. You've seen these for probably $100. Do I really sound like I'm doing QVC now?
Yes, you do. Yes.
Regular price, like $100 here. So
That's
the
right.
idea, just click on that picture, Steve, bring the whole thing forward. There you go. So this is a UV sanitizing box that is available. You put your phone, your keys, whatever it is, and plug it into a USB power cord, turn it on, and I think it's a 5-minute deal, and your stuff has been sanitized using UV light. And so we've got these available for you. Went on the store this morning, so they're now available to you. And of course, if you use the code BFLive, you will, I believe we didn't, I think we're leaving this one on sale as well. So if you use the BFLive, you should get the code off, the discount off of this item, as well as most of the stuff that is in your shopping cart. So do us a favor, go on to BalloonFiestaStuff.com, pick out your favorite stuff, and remember there is new merchandise deals every single day at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Today there is a nice ladies shirt on there as well. So with that, we want to take a look at some video from a good friend of ours. Benny Boss from the Netherlands has sent us some very nice videos. And we saw a splash and dash with our camera earlier in the day, but he captured one while he was flying in the Van Gogh balloon a couple of years ago. So I want to take a look. Oh, they were going to play it again for us. It was so good, right?
Yeah, it was so good. Well, watch it again.
There you go.
Get your popcorn out. That Vinny Boss is just, he's one of the world's greatest balloon photographers, a great personal friend of both of us. He comes up and sees us on the tower, and he's also been a great help to me through the years at Ballooning Magazine, the official publication of the Balloon Federation of America. If I can get a quick plug in there, by providing a lot of his photography, and his daughter, Nika, has also provided her photography and written a number of pieces for us.
I love Rangers, just enjoying the show.
He's chilling out and maxing out his camera time right now, that's for sure.
Hey, up tomorrow, Glenn, we're going to see the Dawn Patrol show do a formation flight. And we're going to talk
I remember
about
that, yeah.
Yep, and we're going to talk with the manager of the Balloon Museum about what's happening at the Albuquerque International Balloon Museum as well. So that basically wraps it up for today for us. So thank you for joining us, and give Ranger an extra treat for his appearance.
I'll do that.
All right, thank you for watching us, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time right here on Balloon Fiesta Live, Siesta Edition.
See.
You've been watching Balloon Fiesta Live, Siesta Edition, powered by XTO Energy, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil. Always in October and always in Albuquerque, the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is the world's premier ballooning event. Make plans now to join us in person in 2021 for the 49th version of Balloon Fiesta. Thanks for watching Balloon Fiesta Live. This program is a production of AIBF Inc.